Well, I'm back. And, this video I was thinking about after I did the video where I was discussing about just my positions and how I felt about what I witnessed over the last, I don't want to say, how should we say this? Over the last 6 months leading into the election, just my thoughts on it. And as someone who is a foundational Black American, I feel like over the next 4 years, there's going to be a lot of things that we as Black Americans are going to need to do, especially in light of everything that's happened this past election cycle and the chaos I saw and just the lack of discipline by people. There needs to be some structure here. Over the next 4 years, what we as FBAs need to be doing, and these are just things that I've written down that I've said to myself, what could prevent a lot of the disinformation that was disseminated within our community during this election cycle, which led to a lot of individuals, a lot of people being fractured, a lot of people not understanding what it is that should have been our goal, and how, yes, we did drop the ball, and how, the next 4 years is just going to be more of the same and business as usual for this country. And by business as usual, that means Black Americans are last, and that's just the way it is. So this is not going to be too long of a video. I'm just going to list out what I wrote. And the first thing is, we're going to need physical discipline. The age-old saying, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. We've seen situations with Daniel Penny, and we read every day about Black Americans going missing, or Black Americans being killed, or losing their lives at the hand of race soldiers. It's incumbent that this has to stop. But the only way that this is going to stop is if they know that you're not a soft target. And how do they know you're not a soft target? Well, not to sound chauvinistic, but the gym is going to have to be your best friend. Physical fitness is going to have to become a priority in the Black American community. I'm sorry, this is going to sound really, really bad, but the fact that we are 9 times more likely to pass away from heart disease and diabetes and all of these things when they are preventable, it shouldn't take this situation for me to say this, but our physical fitness and health plays a big part in how we will be represented moving forward in this country. Okay, we need to make fitness and wellness a part of who we are, a part of our identity. And again, like I said, part of the situation with Daniel Penny is taking care of your physical well-being, but more importantly, it's your mental well-being. The young man who had his life taken away by Daniel Penny, he was someone who suffered from mental illness. And what I'm about to say is gonna sound like I'm saying that everybody has mental issues, but we all deal with something. We all are dealing with something. And if we don't focus on taking care of our bodies, our minds, then how are we ever expected to take care of the community as a whole? So that leads me into the next point, and I want to talk about controlling our emotions. If you don't control your emotions, they will rule you and blind you from the bigger picture, and that goes for any event that takes place over the next 4 years. Listen, we're going to get inundated with a lot. Did you not just see, the New Year's Day, right? It was just one event after another event after another event after another event. And that's by design, people. These are control tactics, these are distracting tactics, and they are designed to keep our eyes off the ball. So we have to stay vigilant. And part of being vigilant is controlling how we react to certain situations. Actually, how we react to all situations. That's at least how my dad always told me. Is that you have to maintain discipline at all times. It's hard, but it's not meant to be easy. So when we see one of our own be gunned down in the street by a race soldier, or is his life is taken from him, or her life is taken from her, we have to have emotional discipline and move accordingly. Okay. And that leads into my next portion, and that is become educated with your local, state, and federal laws. People, this information is at our fingertips. It is the World Wide Web. If we can log on and know what Cardi B is wearing, or we can log on and know what the latest Michael B. Jordan movie is, or who they're dating, or who Jay-Z, or what Jay-Z is doing, or that Diddy has, baby oil, affinities, then you should be able to know who your state and local officials are. And you should also be able to know what laws are governing where you live. Because part of remaining vigilant, which leads into what I was talking about, us being able to pay attention and to have emotional discipline and to be physical and mentally well, is understanding or knowing our surroundings. Okay. Part of that will also help us over these next 4 years, because let's be honest, since the Daniel Penny situation, these race soldiers, they definitely got a battery in their back, and they 100% feel like it's open season. You can feel it on social media. You can feel it whenever there's a situation that comes out. You can already see what's going on when in California, when those false reports about people looting homes, who did they plaster on front and center? Okay. And this leads me into the next thing, which is know your specific state representatives and attend those town meetings and conferences, people. You cannot just worry about, oh, hey, I got to go to work, my 9 to 5. That's all I need to focus on. That's all I need to take care of. Let me tell you something. Part of living in this country is being active participant in the country. And far too often, and you're not going to like this, particularly in the black community, we do not get active in our state and local elections. We do not get active in those town halls and town meetings. We're so focused on, I get it, we got to work 10 times harder than everybody, but you know what? How are you going to know what laws are being pushed, what amendments or addendums are going to be made to your surroundings and where you live? And then my next thing is, and this is just going to be solely focused on what I was talking about in, what I saw over the last 6 months leading up to the election and then post-election. I'm going to need everybody to start questioning everything. I don't care if you like a certain content creator and that certain content creator makes you laugh, or you like that this certain content creator moves the way you move. We need to start holding people accountable for the things they say and the information that they're putting out there. And by that, I mean research and take notes. Everything that person says, because this is going to lead into my next point. Okay. You need to, if a person that you like has 10,000 subscribers, 20,000 subscribers, they got 1 million followers, and they're telling you something, or they are bringing to light some new information that you were not aware of, please do your research. Again, information is at our fingertips. And if that information does not add up, question it. It's okay to question it. It's okay to be the person who's in the room, who's the only one with your hand up saying, this something don't seem right. Hey man, that's not what I read. Could you clarify on this? It's okay to do that. If you just take everyone at their word, then you're not thinking for yourself. Then you can be led into a trap. And then what I was talking about, which just will lead into, pay attention to the big swings in opinions. If a person is talking about reparations and tangibles specifically geared for the Black American community and they shift, we need to say pause, stop. Let's get back on track. Why are we now talking about the weather? Why are we now talking about the latest big headline, which is designed to distract us? I thought the goal was to come together to formulate a plan, an action plan, to get something tangible for our community. Full stop. Lastly, I'm just going to put this out there, okay? This kind of just grabs everything in totality. We have to stop being afraid to say, you know what? I don't think you know what you're talking about. I get it. You're beloved by so many people, or you've got all these accolades. You know what, brother? You know what, sister? I don't think you know what you're talking about. Once you get that information, once you have become educated on the entire topics, and you know that this individual is not saying something and not living as he is speaking, don't be afraid to bring it up and say, you know what? I'm not feeling this from you. I don't think you have our best interest at heart. Because I'm just gonna tell a little story, and this will be just for me to just talk about really quickly before I end this video. Somebody who follows me on X, who I know was really, really active during the political process, and would attend spaces, and I would be in the spaces and listening to things, and we'd be communicating via private message box. This individual, let's just say this person knows someone who is very, very heavy, was very, very heavy on the anti-Kamala Harris train. And this person, like me, would be listening in on these spaces, and we would clearly hear someone say something that was wildly inaccurate. And the very thing that they would say to me is, well, if we say something, we're going to be called this, that, and third. We're going to get looked at as we trying to shill for this party over that party. We're going to be and just that action alone, and I'm guilty of it as well, which is why this is incumbent upon me to do the same thing, is we got to stop being afraid to be that dude, to be that person in the classroom who's, when we clearly know the teacher or the quote unquote so-called teacher is incorrect, we got to be willing to sit there and say, hey, you know what? This is probably going to lose me some support, but this is not right. This is way off base. I don't know where you get these numbers. Hey, I don't know what you're talking about with this. And part of that goes into what I brought up earlier and before, is you have to become educated on the topics and the subjects. You cannot halfway do this. Over the next 4 years, FBAs, we have to, as a community, as a whole, have to become literal sponges over every law that's passed, every law that's brought up on the books, how they affect the Black community. And it doesn't matter which party brings forth that law. And that's something we're going to have to get over. We're going to have to get over this, hey, this party did this for 60 years. This party did that for 120. So, you know what, since I was dealing with this party for 60 years and didn't get this, I'm just going to automatically roll with the other party. Nope, that's not how this works. You need to become educated. You cannot make decisions based on emotion. They need to be made off of logic. We have to move logical, and we have to move calculative. So that's all I'm going to say. Now, I did not want this video to be too long, but it apparently has gone on a little bit longer than I wanted. I'm going to be trying to get a little bit more active, and then I will start to discuss what is going to be going on, because honest to God, I think that we're in for we're in for a lot of histrionics and a lot of theater and a lot of chaos. And I need people to understand that the theater and the histrionics is to distract from the real sinister things that are going to be done, and the real sinister things that are going to be done are going to ensure that Black Americans are on the bottom. And when the midterms come around and when the next election cycle comes around, we have to, the only way that we're going to be lockstep and key to ensure, because I'm going to be honest with you guys, what I didn't elaborate in the other video, and I'm going to say here now, I have this strong feeling that the Democratic Party is going to come they're going to come to the Black American community by the next election cycle. And if we do not have all of our T's crossed and our I's dotted, that's how we can get the fast one pulled over us. Because I'm telling you, the Republicans are going to lean very, very hard into the white supremacy that you're seeing. What you're seeing now is surface level. If you look at just what's going on here, where just who they're putting into positions and specific positions which do and will affect the Black community, and you research these individuals that they're putting in charge of these things, it is geared to push us out. Okay, and no amount of bragging about the fact that we, are native to this land, or bragging about that, we can run the 40 in a 4-2 or 4-1. None of that matters, guys. What's going to matter is how educated we are on the issues, how we can counter those attacks, how we can get in and get past the disinformation, how when an event happens that is geared towards getting us to react emotionally, when we act logically, how that's going to be what throws off the system. That's what's going to make people really afraid. And I just want us to be a heck of a lot more organized than we were going into this last election, because this last election was complete disarray and chaos. And unfortunately, we got nothing for it. Well, actually, we got exactly what we should have expected with disarray and, being undisciplined, which is what we're about to get for the next 4 years. So I'm out. Peace. Be safe. Be good to each other. I'm out.